that's all I need to say. Alan, thank you so much. In addition to Alan, I have some other family here that I wanted to introduce. Alan's sister, my stepdaughter Laura Kittleman, and her husband Tom Nate, Laura Kittleman. And your wife is here, Robin, and your daughter Mary. They're right over here. My own two beautiful daughters, and I want to just say for the record, unlike Scott Brown, my two daughters are not available. And most important, my brilliant and very vocal granddaughter, Skylar. I'm here today to announce that I am a candidate for the office of County Executive of Howard County in 2010.
Yeah.
Last fall, a number of people began urging me to run for the office of County Executive, and they gave me a lot of good reasons, some of which came from Alan, and they were all very flattering. But running for county executive was not something that was on my radar screen. It was not something that I had planned to do or even considered. So what I said is, let me think about it. Let me examine to see if I can find out the same question that Alan answered, the same question that you all ask, is why? Why me? Why should I run? What can I offer the people of this county that is unique and that I can ask them to vote for me? My first answer came when I was looking at the spending that was happening in Howard County. 13 years ago, over the last 13 years, let me rephrase that, over the last 13 years, our population has grown 29%. Over that same time, our budget has increased 400%. Let me repeat that. While our population was growing 29%, our budget was 400% greater. Our tendency to provide government to provide more and more is not only unsustainable, it's wrong, even in a county as wealthy as Howard. Not everyone in Howard is rich. Many of us are struggling to meet mortgage payments. Others are putting 2 and 3 kids through college, or trying to. People who are retired are struggling to live on a fixed income. While the value of their home declines, prices rise, and there is always the threat that taxes will go up in the next few years. That's right, Skylar. What politicians have forgotten is that the money government spends comes from the labor of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people like you and like me, people who get up every morning, go to bed late at night, miss weekends working, and miss nights with their family in order to earn an honest living. So when government takes money to spend, it had better have a darn good reason. Howard County is an incredible place. It really is. It's got an extraordinary quality of life. We still have time to make the changes that are necessary to maintain that quality of life. But we've got to start now. This county is great, not so much because of its government, but because of the people who live here. We need to gradually change our concept of what government should provide for us and what we can and should and want to provide for ourselves. Politicians have to be willing to say no to the latter so that we can continue to provide the former, so that we can continue to provide the essentials of government that maintain the quality of life in this county. My second answer came when I began meeting people like Josette Wheatley, my wonderful campaign manager, who, by the way, they put together this whole ensemble and made the signs and actually built this podium. And and Betty Evans, who owns and runs Sinorama. Like me and many others, they had become cynical and unhappy with the direction that our governments have been going in, piling up huge deficits and poking into all phases of our lives. It's interesting to me that both Josette and Betty were born in countries other than the USA. Josette was born in Canada, and Betty was born in Germany. When Betty got to America, she opened Sinorama and has operated it successfully. It's a small business for 15 years. Betty experienced socialism, and she is adamant that we cannot let that happen here. Both of these wonderful women and others like them began working in my campaign with so much enthusiasm that my decision virtually got made for me. But there was one final epiphany that I had, and it came from my granddaughter. Skylar stays with me a couple mornings a week, couple mornings every other week while her mom teaches. Samantha teaches math at Glenelg High School. And I watch her in awe as she masters these skills that I only wish I had. One day, shortly after she had, and this is absolutely true, had reprogrammed the weather button on my phone to register in Celsius instead of Fahrenheit, I started in on my, "Oh, you are so brilliant, you are here and meant to save the world" speech. And then I stopped and I actually thought about that. And I thought, what on earth am I wishing on this poor child? And what kind of a world is she going to have? And what is she going to have to do to save it? This is not a soundbite when you're looking into the eyes of your own grandchild. And so I decided to run. I have the answers for me as to why, because I believe I can prepare Howard County for the impact of the economic crisis that these structural deficits are going to produce and protect the quality of life for our residents. Because I want to work to ease the burdens of government on small businesses so that they can put people back to work. And because I need to have an answer when Skylar grows up. Because when she grows up, she will no doubt read quotes from Thomas Jefferson, who said, "The principle of spending money to be paid by posterity under the name of funding is but swindling futurity on a large scale." And she will have the right to say to me, "Why? Why did you let them do that, Grandma?" And now I can say to her, I stepped up to the plate. I did my best. And that's all anyone, even a granddaughter, can ask of you to do. So thank you all very much for coming. It's very exciting. And if the press has any questions, I'll be glad to answer. Or no questions from the press? I must have... Please stop punching cookies.